are some things in this world that not everyone can do. Not everyone can be a professional ballet dancer or basketball player or astronaut, right? That's something we know for sure. But if you're a doctor human who wants to be a certain kind of specialist doctor human, most of the time it's really just a case of how bad do you want it. Because it's not a question of whether it's possible for you, it's a case of are you willing to become uncomfortable to get it. Hello Dr. Humans, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to share my final little cover letter Q&A situation, and that's about how to apply for a job that is very competitive. You're going to want to hear this. What if I want to do a particular specialty but my CV is not up to scratch? Oh, I've got so much to say about this. Okay, so in this section I want to group a few questions that connect together. And this is for you if you're applying for a job and it's competitive. Something I hear trainees say all the time is that they'd like to do whatever specialty, but it's competitive. Or I'd like to do such and such a specialty, but my CV just isn't up to scratch. Now that mindset is not always a bad thing. So for example, you could really be tuning into your true north and saying, do you know what? I understand that to get into this specialty, I've been told to do X, Y, Z, and maybe I'd even have to move interstate and that's not going to suit me, and so on and so forth. And so you might just feel like it's not the ultimate right path for you, and it's not matching up with your lifestyle, your ideal week, where you want to be, and the trade-off of compromising everything for that position just doesn't feel aligned with you, right? So if that's the energy that you're coming to this decision with, where you actually can see a few possible futures for yourself and that you know you'd be happy in any of them, and you're just going to choose yourself, right? You're going to choose the one that aligns with you the most, then there's actually nothing wrong with that, right? There's nothing wrong with that. It's not settling, it's just choosing yourself, right? But sometimes this is said from a place of lack and low vibe energy and just feeling not good enough and just having a lack of self-belief. And what I say to that is, that's a load of rubbish, right? There are some things in this world that not everyone can do. Not everyone can be a professional ballet dancer or basketball player or astronaut, right? That's something we know for sure. But if you're a doctor human who wants to be a certain kind of specialist doctor human, most of the time it's really just a case of how bad do you want it. Because it's not a question of whether it's possible for you, it's a case of are you willing to become uncomfortable to get it. And I would urge you to never ever let anyone tell you what you're capable of. There are so many rules around the place that get broken constantly. The truth is, there are no hard and fast rules for anything, and if you want something and you're willing to make yourself uncomfortable for it and you really don't think you'd be happy with anything else, then I think you should give it a red hot go. And that's what I have to say about that. So I want you to go to Professor such and such, tell them what you want to do with your life, and work out how you're going to get on the program. So in that regard, what I want you to do is to tune into yourself, what is going to make you happy in future, and be super honest with yourself. And this is actually harder than it looks, right? We as doctor humans are constantly in a state of conforming and being told that there's only one way to do anything in our career, and if we deviate from that, we are confusing to people, right? They don't know what to do with us if we don't fit in the box. So it can be very difficult to all of a sudden just tune into who we are and what we actually want, right? But it is worth spending some time on this for your future happiness. So go for a beach walk, do some exercise, meditate, journal, whatever works for you, and just get really clear on where you're going. Now, once you figure out what you actually want, it's your choice whether you're open about this in your job applications and interviews, for example, or whether you want to keep some of that to yourself. You're not married to things you say in your interview or your cover letter or whatever. But the important thing is that you know where you're going, and you know how you're going to go after it unapologetically. Okay, so that was a tangent slash rant, but my point is that it's okay to choose what you deem is the easier path or the path of least resistance. It's also okay for you to reach for the stars and go after this with grit and determination. But what I don't want you to do is place limitations on yourself because somehow you caught wind of the idea that you're not good enough or whatever. Okay, that's a lot of rubbish. You've come this far. You're a doctor human with the potential to be any kind of doctor human you choose to be. I want you to hear that and internalize that. But with that said, I would like to introduce some glory stories here for people that I've come across where their career hasn't quite gone to plan, right? Along the way, over time, I have seen people who don't get the job that they wanted. Maybe they didn't get in first time to the program, maybe they fell off the program, maybe they just never got on the program ever, and they are thriving now. First example is someone who was in my BPT cohort and wanted to get into nephrology training like me, right? And I adore this person. They're one of the best doctor humans I have ever come across on planet Earth. I literally love her. And she didn't get onto the program, and I did, and that confused me because she is truly excellent. Then she did some research the next year to get onto the program and then didn't get on the program. And again, I remain highly perplexed to this day as to why she didn't get on the program. Literally no idea why. And meanwhile, she was accruing general medicine experience and becoming trained in this area. So fast forward till we both finish, we're both consultants, and I bump into her at the hospital that I work at. And of course I'm saying good day and how are you? And I'm very grateful to secure my consultant work at that hospital. But you know, when I caught up with her, what had happened with her is that she had finished her advanced training and stepped straight into a 1.0 full-time public consultant position. She just walked out of advanced training into a 1.0. That is very, very rare, right? In a major tertiary centre, I must add. What a legend. And so in the end, she won. Think of all the people who got into the training programme, and on the other side of it, we're all endlessly trying to scrap here and there for work, and she just bossed her way into a full-time position and happier than ever. Just so happy. And so that's a glory story that I just wanted to share because in the end, she was living her best life and was completely unaffected and actually better off for not having done renal training. It was incredible. And the thing is that what people don't tell you is that when you're a consultant, you can basically do whatever you like, right? So if you didn't get into the specialty program of your choice and you ended up doing a general medical path to become a gen med consultant, you can still practice any type of medicine that fascinates you. You can be a gen med physician with an interest in cardiology, respiratory, infectious disease, or really whatever you feel like. And I can think of another example of a friend who tried to get into cardiology and they just kept hitting this wall of rejection. They just could not get on the program for whatever reason. I don't understand. And then again, completed advanced training in general medicine, and when he finished, he was overcommitted. His hours were sort of 1.5 equivalent all the work he had as a consultant. He was working a lot. But he was also well known for his abilities and interest in cardiology. He was running a cardiology clinic, he could do echoes, and he was ultimately living his best life because he was still doing exactly what he wanted to do, which was infusing cardiology into his working week, right? He was still handling cardiology and clinically contributing to cardiology clinics and things like that. And I remember having that conversation with him about the moment that someone said to him, listen, you can practice cardiology without being a cardiologist in the first place. You can do this as a gen med physician. And it was like a light bulb went off and he did the echo course and aligned himself with cardiology clinics and spent some of his time working alongside cardiologists, and he's never looked back, right? And so whilst it is true that you are capable of anything, and I believe that you can be whatever you want to be in your medical career, sometimes despite our best efforts and being incredible candidates, we get knocked back and we find ourselves on another path, which from what I can see in those specific stories I mentioned was not a bad path, maybe even a better path. And in the end, they won and they built careers that fulfilled them. So obviously, without a crystal ball, I cannot tell you how things will pan out for you in your life. But what I do know to be true is that what's important is tuning into who you are and what you want and building your career around that. Because even if certain doors are closed for you, I can assure you that at the end of the day, you can do the work that is relevant to your clinical interests. It might not be the typical route, but there will be a way to build your future that aligns with what you ultimately want for yourself. Don't let anyone tell you different. So that was a bit of a rant, and of course this is only my opinion. It doesn't actually represent the opinion of anyone else on the planet or anyone else I work for, etc, etc. I hope you found that useful, and of course if you are applying for the job of your dreams in the near future, you're trying to get on the training program, you have a job application and you want your cover letter to sparkle and pop, come along to Rock Your Cover Letter, the on-demand workshop. You can check out the link below. That'll take you through how to write a cover letter paragraph by paragraph. I will teach you how to spin the most ordinary things into absolute gold. We're going to make you shine, sparkle. You are going to understand how unique and special you are, and you're going to be able to sell yourself in a jiffy. And there are also lots more Q&As in there as well for you. So if that's something you need in your life, go ahead, click the link below, and I'll see you on the inside. And otherwise, I'll see you in the next video, which will be more of an education flavour. Let's ramp up this written exam situation. I'll see you soon. Bye.